Hello everybody, welcome to Marketing Analytics course. This is Dr. Shagata Chatterjee from VGSOM IIT Kharagpur who is back with this course, and today we will discuss about pricing. So week 5 is going on and we have been discussing about pricing. If you remember, in one of the earlier earlier videos, we talked about bundled pricing, bundling to be precise. And in bundling, I discussed that okay, there are when by chance if the willingness to pay of two different products among various consumers are probably negatively correlated with each other, in such kind of situations probably bundling works best. Not always that is something that is a prerequisite. There can be other situations where also bundling can work pretty well, and such a case study is something that we will be applying here. Now, why do you see bundling is something that is very important to understand. So, bundling are of two types majorly. One is pure bundling and one is mixed bundling. Pure bundling means where the individual items separately are not available. The only thing that is available is the bundled price. For example, let us say Microsoft's Office, MS Office. You cannot probably buy the individual products separately like MS Word, MS Excel and etc. You cannot buy separately, but you have to buy the whole bundle product. Now, what they think is that okay, so they do not exactly know that how much you will use which one. So, do you use MS Word majorly, or do you use MS Access majorly, or do you use MS Excel majorly? They don't know that very clearly, but they know that these are something which are day to day office productivity tools, and there will be some people who will be more of a writer who will focus on the the word part, and there will be some people who are modelers who will focus on the spreadsheet modeling part, and there will be some people who are presenters who will focus on the MS PowerPoint part, and that's how they create a combination of that. And the prices is not dependent on your usage, prices is the dependent on your how much is the value that you give. So, see, a guy who is a presenter and a guy who is a spreadsheet modeler and a guy who is a writer in a same organization might not be very different in their salary, unless they are probably somebody who is a CEO and etc. In terms of their income and etc., those things will not be very different, and they also use a certain portion of their lifetime on this particular job. So, whether you are a writer or whether you are a spreadsheet modeler, the value that you provide on that particular tool is more or less same, which is proportional to the number of amount that you work on that particular tool. So, that is why it sometimes happens that even if I create a combined one single price, depending on your job profile, depending on your job status, one single price is probably okay. For example, whether you are a student of management, or whether you are a student of engineering, or whether you are a student of art subject, when you are a student your income is up to X amount. When you are an entry level professional, your income is Y amount. So, the value that you put on these particular products are more or less same, not very different. So, in such kind of situations the pure bundling works. Now, mixed bundle is a different situation. What is mixed bundle? Have you ever gone to, let us say, Pizza Hut or Domino's, where you will see that there is a package dinner available. So, meal for 2 or meal for 4 or something, where 2 medium sized pizzas, 2 starters or side dishes, 2 cold drinks which are either Pepsi or Coke, and then some other items. Now, this itself is a bundle, but along with the bundle all of these things can be separately bought also. So, you can separately buy one pizza and one. So, let us say you do not like the fries, you do not like the finger chips. So, you might not want to buy finger chips, and that is why you can also, if you want, separately buy a medium sized pizza and a cold drinks or 2 cold drinks or whatever, depending on how many guys you have. So, that is something which is mixed bundling, where the bundle is also present and the individual pricing is also present. Now, another key example is probably let us say the packages that we have created after the digitization of TV where all the products that the TV channel providers are giving are coming under a package. Now, you can buy a package and then you can buy add-ons. For example, I remember in around 4 or 5 years back, I had one of the dish service provider, let's say Tata Sky, and then Tata Sky had a basic package, and then there was a top up that okay, so Bengali channels or Odia channels or Hindi channels, and then games channels and etc. etc. So those kind of top ups are actually you can also consider them as a package. So then top up has 4 things, and then there was some price. So I do not know if you are a customer of, let's say, sports channels. I do not know whether you are a fan of 10 Sports or ESPN or Star Sports or whom. But I know that you generally like sports, and all the sports comes under these 4 or 5 channels: Fox, ESPN, Set Max probably at some point of time, Star Sports and etc. All for these 4 and 5 channels will actually give you all the sports that is happening. So if I can put them in the package, and I know that okay, this guy is looking for a evening kind of entertainment, and he is ready to pay around, let's say 2 rupees, 3 rupees per night of entertainment. So 120 rupees per month of entertainment, and I will charge accordingly. So that is something where the mixed bundling comes up. So you can also buy the individual one single channel separately for a price of, let's say, 10 rupees, 20 rupees, 40 rupees per month, or you can also buy a bundle at a price of 120 rupees per month. Now, heavily similar things are heavily seen in let's say a mobile phone. Let's say right now you take connection and you have in Jio or Vodafone or Airtel, you have certain free in network free, and right now out network some minimal price that you have to pay, and then there are 100 SMSs are free, and then the data is absolutely 1.5 up to 5.5 GB. It is high speed, and after that it is low speed but absolutely free, and something like that. So all of these things are comes under a package, and you cannot, this one is oftentimes this one is also a mixed bundling, where you can also get a top up. So let's say I have 1.5 GB, but I want another 2 GB of internet special as an extra. I can buy that top up 2 GB of high speed internet as a top up. So all of these things are there in the market, and that's why the pricing of this stuff becomes very important, how it is done. Now, if you remember, we do the pricing based on the preferences that is shown by the customers. Now, the preferences shown by the customers will be different for different customers. Some customers will be very particular about their preference, they know, and some customers will be a little bit hazy, they do not know which one to buy, which one not to buy, and etc. So what we do is, let's say it's a telecom company, or let's say it's a entertainment company, TV entertainment company. They have huge customer base, and this customer base has huge level of heterogeneity. Every customer is different, their preferences are different, how much they are willing to pay, that is different. So what they do is they collect this data, and then they break the whole customer base, that is their population, into multiple demographic groups. We call them strata. It can also be multiple segments, we call them then probably cluster based sampling. So either stratified sampling or cluster based sampling is something that they do. So they break it under strata, and from each strata they collect some people, and the overall samples demographic should actually follow the population demographic. So if there is 30% male and 70% female in the population, similar thing should be there in the sample also as much as possible. So they try to match that, and they create a sample which is a true representation of the population. Now, for that sample they collect the data about people's expectation, people's interest, about various kinds of or willingness to pay in this particular case, about various types of combinations of products or combinations of packages, and they want to find out that what is the bundling price from that. So that is something that we will do here. So if you have seen, there is a bundling Excel file that has been given to us, and this particular file has certain customers preferences, willingness to pay that has been given. So, for the first customer it is 5.5, 11 and 5.5 again for internet, TV and cell phone. For the second customer it is 19.5 for internet, $38 let us say rupees whatever I do not know for TV and 5.5 for cell phone and so on. So, that kind of preferences is given. Now, these are individual product based preference and we want to know that what is the preference of the customers in terms of the packages. Now, there are 3 items that is there like internet, TV and cell phone. Now, internet, TV and cell phone can be sold separately and they can also be sold in a bundle. And how many different kind of bundles can be created? Internet plus TV is one bundle, internet plus cell phone is another bundle, TV plus cell phone is another bundle and all of them together is the last bundle. So, these are the 4 bundles that can be created out of this thing. Now, I as a marketing manager want to know that what will be the pricing such that I will maximize my profit or in this case maximize my revenue and what should be the pricing for that. And should I go for individual pricing, should I go for mixed pricing? If I go for mixed pricing, then what should be the pricing of this? All the 7 options like internet, TV, cell phone, internet plus TV, internet plus cell phone and TV and TV plus cell phone and all. So, all of these options, what are the various options that I have is something that we are trying to check. Now, to do that, what I will do is that I will also first I will find out that what is the willingness to pay of the customer for the packages. So, what is the total value that they are getting once they buy the package. So, what I do is I will just include here 4 more cells and I will copy it probably I will copy what? I will copy this 4 and paste it here. So, how much they are getting value when it is internet plus TV? That value is basically this one internet plus TV. So, B7 plus A7 comes up to be I think 16.5. What is for internet plus cell phone? Internet is 5.5 plus cell phone is another 5.5 comes up to be 11. And how much for TV plus cell phone? That is, this is my TV and this is my cell phone and I am getting TV plus cell phone something like this. So, this is what I am getting till now and I will actually try to do the same thing for all other customers. So, I will try to find out that how the same thing will actually impact for all other customers. So, what I will do is I will select this and then drag it up for all customers. Similarly, the last one for the all option which is nothing but internet plus TV plus cell phone, that is the option that I am getting internet plus TV plus cell phone and then I am dragging that up for all the customers. So, this is something that I have done till this point. So, carefully you understand. So, what I am focusing? I am focusing on a situation where I have internet, TV and cell phone. People have given me the individual preferences of these products. Now, I have 4 different kinds of combinations possible. Internet plus TV is one combination, internet plus cell phone is one other combination, TV plus cell phone is another combination and all of them together is another combination. Now, you can choose any one of them. As a customer, you will have this platter in front of you and you can choose any one of them. Now, I as a marketer want to know that if you choose any one of them, how much is your willingness to pay or how much is the value that you are getting. Now, if I know how much is the value that you are getting, I can actually charge my prices accordingly, which will actually try to take care of this valuation. Now, I have to make sure the valuation is such that the combined valuation of all these 7 items, whatever revenue that will generate ultimately is maximized. because one particular pricing might suit customer 1, but might not suit customer 2, and another pricing might suit customer 2, might not suit customer 3 or 1 or so whatever. So, I have to find out which combination of prices is the best possible in terms of what? Maximizing revenue. Here the assumption is, at this particular problem, the assumption is your unit cost is 0. But if you think that there are unit cost involved, and if you think that this unit cost will vary depending on the package. So, let us say I give internet separately and TV separately, my cost is C1 and C2, but if I give internet and TV together, sometimes it might happen that it is a cable channel. So, the amount of workload is probably a little bit low in terms of the installation and etc. So, the cost is lesser than C1 plus C2. So, if that is the case, then that should be also incorporated. Here our assumption is the cost for individual or the package items are 0. So, that based on that assumption we are actually going ahead. So, coming back to our problem, we are now focusing on, let us say these are my things and I am talking about the price. So, let us say I start with this price, that everybody is, for every option I am charging 10 rupees. I am charging 10 rupees for every option, does not matter. If that is the case, then if I am charging 10 rupees for every option, then how much is for this first customer, how much is the consumer surplus? Now, if you remember, the consumer surplus was, I will quickly change the style to plain and the size to, let us say, yeah. So, the consumer surplus was what? Consumer surplus is how much the consumer is willing to pay. So, willingness to pay of the customer minus the price that it is being charged, or it is also a proxy of V minus P, where V is the value and P is the price. Now, we discussed in a different class that somebody will choose option 1 over option 2 when V1 minus P1, he will choose this one when V1 minus P1 is higher than V2 minus P2. So, for each of them I have to calculate this V1 minus P1, V2 minus P2 and etc., and find out which option has highest consumer surplus, and the option which has highest consumer surplus, for that I will go ahead and do this thing. So, the first one is the internet. Internet, they are paying $10 and their willingness to pay is $5.5. So, this is negative basically. So, this is 5.5 minus $10. Okay. Now, if I just drag it for up to this point, I will see that this one is what? B7, which is the willingness to pay for TV, minus this value I4, which is the price for TV. Similarly, what is this value? This is C7, which is the willingness to pay for cell phone minus price of cell phone, and so on. For example, this one, the willingness to pay is 22 and he is paying 10. So, 22 minus 10, which is G7 minus N4. So, this is the price. Now, if I drag it till the end, before I drag it, I have to put all of this in F4, means that means I am actually putting the dollar signs means I am fixing them up, so that when I drag, I do not face any problem. So, one by one I will slowly fix them up. For each of them I am fixing them up. So, I have fixed all my 7 cases up. Now, see, this is where actually the coding part comes in. Now, this is a operation, let us say there are 7 options right now. In a real life situation, you have 500 options. If there are lots of TV channels, then you have 500 options, because there is a 50 TV channels, we will have 50C1, 50 plus 50C2 plus 50C3 plus up to 50C50, all of these combinations are possible if there are 50 channels, right. So, effectively they are that how much 2 to the power 50 minus 50 is 1, something like that, that many 50 is 0. So, 2 to the power 50 minus 1, that many options will get created, which is a huge number, and it is not possible to do all of this mathematics and etc. based on such a big number manually. So, that is where the coding comes in. So, even whatever spreadsheets we are creating in a real life situation, when you try to solve a bigger problem, you have to use codes. Excel will not do, or Excel, even if Excel does, you as a user of Excel cannot do, because then you have to do lots of repetitive job, just like what I have done right now, fixing them up. That is a very simple thing, but you have to do. Anyway, so I am selecting this and I am basically dragging them up to the end. So, when I drag them up to the end, this is the values that I get. These values are what? Each of these values that you get here. So, I will just color code it quickly. So, each of these values that you get here are basically, these are consumer surplus of the customers. These particular cells are consumer surplus of the customer. So, if he chooses the option internet, he will have a consumer surplus minus 4.5. If he chooses the option of internet plus TV, he gets an option of consumer surplus of plus 6.5. Now, the question comes is, which one will he choose? If these are the 7 options, you tell me which one will somebody choose? The one which has the highest consumer surplus. So, which one has the highest consumer surplus? 12. Similarly, for this one, which one is the highest consumer option? Still the last one. So, you will see for most of the cases, the last one will have the highest consumer surplus, because the pricing is all for all of them is same, but that is not the real life situation. So, we will later modify that. But right now, what is the maximum surplus? The maximum surplus is maximum of this particular row. Fair enough, maximum of the row, that is the maximum surplus out of this thing. And which one did he buy? He bought. So, only if this maximum is, the surplus is positive, if all the maximum surplus is negative by chance, then he did not buy anything. If by chance at least the maximum surplus is positive, then only the question comes. What is the question? Then match this value in this cell, and match type is 0, that means exact match. Just check, what did I write here? Match 07, that means match this value 12 in this row, which is H7 to N7, and comma 0 means exact match. It has to be exact match, otherwise 0. So, that means if the consumer surplus is positive, then only he is buying something. If it is negative or 0, then he is not buying anything. So, that value comes up to be 0. When he is buying something, what he is buying? Match the maximum surplus in this column, in this row, and tell me what the match happens. Wherever the match happens, that serial number is something that he is going to buy. Now, match can happen in multiple places. For example, let us say in this particular case, there can be cases, now I cannot see an example right now, but there can be cases where 2-3 things might have same consumer surplus. So, he in that case might want to buy any one of them, does not matter, he is indifferent of buying any one of them. So, it is better for this thing to choose the first one. So, I have done that, and if I just drag it up, all things are coming 7, because the prices are same at the top, if you see. Then what is the revenue? If I buy 7, if this guy buys 7, then what is the revenue? Corresponding revenue is 10 rupees. If by chance it was 2, then this value whatever was written here would have been the revenue. So, that is what I write here, H lookup this particular value in which table? In this table. H lookup will actually search in the first row. V lookup searches when you give a table in the first column. So, here H lookup means in the first row it will search, and whenever you get the match, corresponding third row is something from where you want the value, and again this thing is exact match. For exact match you have to write false. So, just check the syntax of HLOOKUP, what this HLOOKUP means, you will understand what this HLOOKUP is. So, I get the revenue here, and the revenue, if I just drag it down, the revenue is something like this. So, I have to put all of them in the in dollar sign, and then I drag it up. Fair enough. Then what is the total revenue? The total revenue is a sum of these values. The total revenue is sum of these values. Now, I have done fairly good amount of job, and my job is very simple now. I have to maximize this 770. I have to maximize this 770 by doing what? By changing these values. That is my job. Maximize 770 by changing these values. Now, there are lots of constraints that I have, and I have to understand that. The first constraint is that I cannot have a combined price, a package price, which is, let us say I have individual price of just 1 minute. Let us say I have the individual price of product 1 is P1 and product 2 is P2. The combined price, the combination of C12, if that combined price is higher than P1 plus P2, then nobody will buy this, because they will get P1 and P2 separately. So, first this thing is that all I would say bundles are the price of all bundles has to be lower than the total price of the items or bundles that make the first bundle. So, this is something that is very important. What does it mean? That means that if by chance I have a bundle which looks like this, if by chance I have a bundle which looks like, let us say 1, 2, 3, the all bundle I am talking about. So, the all bundle 1, 2, 3 has to be lower than P1 and P2, that is one thing. So, the all bundle has to be lower than P1, P2 plus P3, that is one thing. And so, combination of 1, 2, 3, the price of this combination has to be lower than P1 plus P2 plus P3, that is one thing. And we have to also understand that price of C123 has to be also lower than price of C12, price of combination of 1, 2 and P3. Otherwise, I will buy the combination of 1, 2 and P3 separately, and I get this thing. Why will I buy, let us say TV, internet and mobile phone, TV, internet and cell phone, TV and TV, internet, the combination is available at 20 rupees. This is 20 rupees, TV, internet together, and let us say the cell phone is available at 10 rupees per month, and this guy is charging 40 rupees per month. Why will I go for this, but this 20 plus 10 is available at a 30 rupees combination. So, then this guy has to be lower than these values as well, which also means, which in other words it means that it has to be lower than the rest of the combination. So, that is something that we have to take care when we are doing this thing. So, what is the maximum for internet plus TV? The maximum of internet plus TV's cost, internet plus TV's cost maximum is basically whatever comes up to be here. Similarly, what for cell phone? Whatever comes up to be here. And what is what for TV plus cell? This plus this. These are the maximum possible for. What is the maximum possible for all? The all's maximum is basically so the it has to be the minimum of these 6 guys, actually the minimum of what? Minimum of sum of these 3, that is number 1 option. Second option is internet plus TV plus cell phone. Third option is internet plus cell phone plus TV. And fourth option is basically TV plus cell phone plus internet. So, whatever is minimum of this, I have to be lower than that, that is the maximum value that is possible. Carefully you see, what did I write? What are the various ways somebody can buy the all combination other than buying the all combination? One is they can buy all these 3 things individually, so my price should be lower than that. I can buy combination of 1, 2 and 3 separately, that is K4 plus J4. So, that is something that has to be avoided. Then L4 plus I4, that should also be avoided, and M4 plus H4. So, my price should be such that anybody do not go for those combinations. That is something that I will do. So, what I will do here is in my data tab in the solver, I am maximizing total revenue, that is what I am maximizing by changing what? By changing these prices. Now, what are these things? First of all these prices has to be greater than or equal to 0, add. All the prices has to be lower than or equal to 100. So, I am putting them in 0 and 100, add. And these 4 guys has to be lower than these 4 guys. That is something that I also am adding up. So, add. Anything else I have to think about. So, you will also think that what is the lowest possible value of internet plus TV or all and etc. The lowest possible value means that I cannot be lower than internet plus TV, cannot be lower than internet and TV. The lowest possible is right, no. So, internet plus TV, this combination cannot be lower than internet alone or TV alone. So, that is something that I have to also. So, this is the maximum. I will just add up another thing which is the minimum. What is the minimum for internet plus TV? This is minimum of internet comma TV. This is minimum of internet comma cell phone, and this is minimum of TV comma cell phone, and this is what is the minimum value of this? The minimum of all these 6. So, I have to be actually maximum of all these 6 is something will be my minimum value. I have to be higher than that. That is something that is given. So, in the solver I will add another thing. So, I will add that these 4 guys has to be greater than equal to these 4 guys. So, that is also something that I add up. Now, once I add up this, I will use evolutionary because there are lots of ifs and buts and etc. is involved. So, integer programming is involved. I will go for evolutionary and I will try to solve this. So, I am right now not keeping them integer, but you can also probably want to keep them integers. So, I am trying to solve them. And it is already 2159, 2162, 2166, 2254, 2257, 2259. So, I can stop at any point of time by pressing an escape, but it is improving. So, I will wait for some time, and as long as it takes 1 or 2 minutes to get the result, and you will get a result which will actually improve your sales. So, 2261, 2262 is or 63 is what I have reached till now. but it is still keeping on improving. So, you have to understand that what did I do from the first. The first thing is from individual ones I got the overall packages valuation that people are interested to pay. Okay, so they cannot solve anymore. So, I press OK. So, then I gave some prices at the top to start with, and then the prices that I got to start with will be actually make I have to make sure that the prices will be such that I get the maximum revenue. And then these prices, I run this thing, I find out the maximum surplus, I find out what if that surplus is positive, how much is the revenue, calculate the total revenue, and I maximize the total revenue based on certain constants. So, this is the price that I got. Okay, so this one is okay. It's not minimum. I am actually done it wrong. It should be the minimum value is maximum of these two. So, this is something that I did wrong. I will run once more quickly. So, this has to be maximum of the two, not minimum of the two. So, that is something that I did wrong. So, maximum of this and this is maximum of all of these things. So, that is okay. So, I will quickly change it to 10 once more, all of them to 10, and then I will run it once more. So, save it, solve and solve. So, I did it wrong because see the package price should be the higher than the maximum of individual price. So, if the package is available at 10 rupees and individual is available at 5 rupees and 7 rupees, this 10 rupees has to be higher than 7 rupees. If it is 6 rupees, then people will buy the package rather than buy the individual one. So, if you have to have a mixed bundling approach, all of the purchases, all of the prices should be feasible. That is one of the important things that you try to achieve. So, if they are not feasible, there is no point. So, that is something that we try to achieve, and that is what is should come in your in the rules that you are setting up. So, I will not run this thing till end. You can stop at any point of time. So, I will stop it, and by stopping it I can see that there are some pricing coming up, and 224041 is the revenue that I am getting, and based on that revenue, okay, sorry, I will. So, 2241 was the revenue that I got, and 2241 was achieved by having certain prices which were coming up within the ranges. So, I will stop here, stop, solver stopped at user request, give solver solution, okay. So, 2343 I achieved, and 17, so $18 rupees I can say, 10 rupees here and 22 rupees, and this is 27, 36, 25, and the overall combination is 41. So, the minimum and the maximum is written, and the revenue that I am getting is 2340. So, that is how you generally do a mixed bundling. You can do for multiple products, more than probably 3 products and their combinations, and you can try to find out the answer. So, thank you for being with me in this video, where we have solved a very tough, I would say difficult problem, and which is also very interesting, and which is heavily applied in our marketing problems, and I will meet you in the next video with another pricing problem. Thank you very much.